Yo. What's good, everyone? How you guys doing? Let's talk some Bad Batch. But I'll wait a sec for people to tune in. How is everyone doing? I see we got some people in the chat already. What's chillin', yo? I find it hilarious, by the way, that some of you, maybe this is just stupid American lingo, but, the fact that I said, the title is Huge W, but a lot of people don't know what that means. I think that's funny. I have to be more, globally aware that Americans tend to say really stupid things sometimes and have really weird lingo. So yeah, I'm going to actually unpin this message. All right. Well, how's everyone doing? Let's go to the chat. Hey. Hello, everyone. Yo, hi. What's up, everyone? How you guys doing? Today is a fun day because we got another Bad Batch episode. And I have some thoughts. If you guys watched my video I made Monday about the Bad Batch, the one where it was a little bit clickbaity. I'll give it that. But I meant everything I said in the video. But we'll get into that in a sec. Wait for a few more people to tune in, if anyone does. So how you guys doing? Hold on, I have my iPad here. I've actually been relatively busy these past few days. You know what I'm gonna do? I have this mentality sometimes where it's a completely mental thing where because I have my monitor here where I look and I kind of judge how many people are watching the stream, and I kind of feel bad if not enough people are watching. I have to kind of just ignore that and focus more on the actual content. So yeah, just gotta focus on that. Bad Batch was really good, I think. Love the new revelation. Interesting. The Free Republic of Admiral Producer. Sequel fans unite. I personally don't think those test tubes have anything to do with Snoke, but I could be wrong, of course. I'll give my thoughts on that in a sec. Me and Appreciating Star Wars did a watch party on Bad Batch Episode 9. I hope you guys had fun. I have too much going on to commit to doing a watch party. I mean, I watched the episodes, being it's only 20... I think this episode was 27 minutes. Doing good watching Raiders in 4K. Great movie. My favorite one, though, is Crusade. So yeah, so let's get into talking about the Bad Batch. Now, obviously, the title of this video is The Bad Batch is a huge W. W means win, by the way. Huge dub, huge win, which is a good thing for sequel fans. Now, why do I think that? The first thought obviously has to do with those, the tubes, right? The cloning tubes. Now, I'll be honest. I don't think those tubes have anything to do with Snoke or Palpatine directly. I don't think we saw a Snoke in there or anything like that. I think it's way too early in the timeline. If we talk about the Mandalorian, it would make more sense because Palpatine's dead. But here, Palpatine is still alive. We got a lot going on. So yeah. Bad Batch sucked, IMO. More boring Mando. I like the episode. Hi, Goldman Leverett channel. Thank you so much. Wasn't Snoke in Mando season 4, episode 2? Season 2, episode 4. We'll see. So yeah, I don't think it's Snoke in there. Now, why do I think this is a huge W for sequel fans? I think after the sequel trilogy, I think Lucasfilm is more aware about planning things out, planting seeds, not giving fans false expectations. Because that was a big thing that a lot of detractors of the sequel trilogy didn't like. You know, there was a lot of seeds planted in The Force Awakens, and a lot of them didn't pay off in The Last Jedi. And that bothered a lot of people. Now, there's people like me who thought it paid off wonderfully in The Last Jedi, but other people didn't, and that's fine. I think Lucasfilm is more aware of what they're doing. Since The Rise of Skywalker, we've seen clones in tubes a few times. We saw it in The Rise of Skywalker, where it was Snoke. We saw it in the comic recently, where it was also Snoke, or what would be Snoke. We saw it in The Mandalorian, which could be Snoke, we don't know. And then we saw it in The Bad Batch now. And we saw, it looked like a Kaminoan, the Bad Batch clone tubes. So yeah, I think Lucasfilm is aware of what they're doing, and I think they're really emphasizing part of the cloning, because I genuinely believe that I don't want to say they're going all in on explaining Palpatine's return, but they're gonna try to do it. They're gonna try and explain the First Order, because if you want to fix the sequels, now I don't think they need fixing. I like the movies, but if you want to fix it into the eyes of the wider Star Wars audience. You need to fix the characters, and you need to fix the world building, right? You know, a lot of people don't like the new characters. That's fine. A lot of people don't like what they did with the old characters. That's fine. A lot of people don't like just the world building in general. It's really confusing. That's also fine. That's actually the one I agree with the most. The world building in the sequels is abysmal. So it makes sense. What they're doing right now is they're going to flesh out between 6 and 7. And you can't flesh out the characters, really. You can flesh out Kylo Ren / Ben Solo a little bit, but I think they'll do that later on. You can't flesh out Rey, Finn, or Poe, really, before Episode 7, because Rey's not around, Finn's not around. Can't do, like, Rose or anyone. You can maybe do, like, Rey's parents and how she ended up on Jakku, but you can't really expand on Rey. So I think they're going to focus on the world building of the sequels. How did we get from Return of the Jedi to The Force Awakens? How did we get the First Order? How did we get all that? And I think that's what they're doing slowly. And I think the Filoniverse, which is Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, Mando, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka Show, and Rangers, if that ever becomes a thing. I think they have a plan for everything. I think they've learned that if you make some connections and if you just completely ignore it, they're going to disappoint fans. I think fans would be disappointed if absolutely none of this had to do with Palpatine's return or Snoke. I genuinely don't believe they'll do that. I genuinely think they're going to try and tie it in. Now, my enjoyment of these new shows doesn't have anything to do with the sequels. Am I happy that they're tying stuff in? Yes. Is this Bad Batch thing a direct tie into the sequels? I don't think so. I just think they're aware of cloning, and they're trying to establish a lot of the technology in the lore. They're expanding the lore of cloning, so it makes more sense that when they do address how Palpatine returned, they can explain it better. Does that make sense? Like, if in the Bad Batch, they expand on the technology of cloning, all that, and then that information takes place later on, in, like, The Mandalorian, I think... Am I making myself clear? I think they're setting the foundations for cloning, because we've been seeing that a lot recently. I think that's what they're doing. You forgot the most important installment of the Filoniverse, Resistance. Star Wars Resistance does not connect to anything else. There is no connections to any of the other Filoniverse shows. I mean, Rebels connects to Clone Wars connects to Rebels. They both connect to The Mandalorian. The Bad Batch has connected to both Rebels and the Clone Wars. Not really The Mandalorian yet, but probably will at some point. Oh, no, it has with Fennec Shand. So, yeah, like, those 4 shows that have come out so far, Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, Mando, they've all connected to each other in some way. Resistance hasn't connected to a single one of them. They mentioned the Clone Wars one, so that was it. Star Wars Resistance never connects. It doesn't. It was forgotten. It was dropped after 2 seasons. I think the fandom reaction, if there was a direct sequel tie in the Bad Batch, would be crazy. I think it depends. A lot of people don't like the sequels. That's fair. I genuinely believe that most of the Star Wars fandom, while they might not love the sequels, they're not they won't get triggered if they see something sequel related. If they ever did mention a Snoke in The Mandalorian, I think most people would be like, okay, that's kind of cool. Wait, people actually watch Resistance? I watched it. I didn't like it. I have no plans on ever rewatching it, but yeah. Resistance connects to General Huck's speech once. It connects to the movies, but not any of the other things in the Filoniverse. So yeah. I forget. I want to make a video on Resistance one of these days on why I think it was such a failure. Yeah, the Bad Batch has connected with all the other shows. We got a young Caleb Doom, we got Cad Bane, and we got Fennec. Good stuff. Yeah, see? And I think there's a lot of criticism towards Dave Filoni about, cameos and stuff. I don't mind that. I don't mind cameos as long as it makes sense. Team Bella Stan sequels are amazing. I love Episode 7 and 8 a lot, and I enjoy Episode 9. So, yeah. Tying anything but the cloning stuff, I hate that. I'm not the biggest cloning fan, to be honest, but it's not something I hate. They established that Palpatine returned. I don't really like that conceptually, but I've accepted it. I moved on. If they want to dive more deep into cloning and explain that a little bit, I'm all for that. I don't want it to get too science fiction-y, because Star Wars to me is always more of a fantasy, but I'm not super opposed to it. I'd be hyped for it. I don't know if there'd be sequel connection in Bad Batch. Mando, I think, will do it again. Yeah, Bad Batch, it's hard just because of the time difference. I mean, the Bad Batch takes place 19 years before the original trilogy, before Episode 4, which takes place 34 years before Episode 7, so yeah. What's that? What's 19 plus 34? 53? Yeah, 53 years apart, so yeah. Imagine having a show between Episode 8 and 9. I need to make a video on that, because I think animated series between 8 and 9 would be abysmal. Because canonically, it's disappointing. I wish this wasn't the case. But canonically, there just isn't much time between episode 8 and 9, and there's not really much you can do. I think like the characters aren't much different. Like, if you look at the characters between at the end of 8 and the beginning of 9, they're not much different. While in Clone Wars, there's just so much you can do because there's a whole war that goes, and the episode 2 ends with the beginning of the Clone Wars, and episode 3 ends with the end of the Clone Wars. With episode 8 and 9, only 1 year passes, and it's been established that Rey leaves Ajan Kloss like once. So yeah. How old would Omega be hypothetically in The Force Awakens? Assuming we don't really know how old she is in the Bad Batch, but I will assume that Omega ages like a regular human being instead of accelerated aging, because they said she's a, what was the phrase? Remind me, a Generation 1 clone. Like her and Boba Fett are like Generation 1 or something. I think Resistance is a good show for kids because my little cousins love it. I'm glad they love it. They should do a show set after episode 9. I would agree. That I would agree much more with episode 8 and 9. Between episode 8 and 9. I'd rather go after 9. So yeah, Omega, let's say she's 10. Is 10 fair? 10, well, she has to be like 13. She's way too young to be 13. I don't know. 10 maybe? Because it's what? It's about 13 years after the production of the clones started. She's definitely not 3. So she might be like 10 or 9. Say she's 10. Say she's 10 during the Bad Batch. That means she would be 63 in The Force Awakens. I mean, it's not super old. I mean, human beings live to 60 these days. I'll say 10. Yeah. Pure first generation clone. That I thought was really interesting. I wonder if Jango Fett knew about it. Does Boba Fett know about Omega? It makes me think, is her name Omega Fett? Like, I don't know. Pure Gen 1 DNA, just Boba, Alpha, and Omega. How fitting. Makes sense. I like that little revelation. It's kind of, it's a little more, it gives her more importance. We still don't really know why she's important. We'll see. Did you see that we got the soundtrack for episodes 1 through 8 released today? I don't have any recollection of any of the soundtracks from the Bad Batch, so it's not something I'm super invested in hearing. Sorry. By the way, guys, we have 36 people watching right now. Make sure you destroy the like button to this video, because that's something that helps out the channel a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. As someone who really doesn't like the sequels, I would love if they connected to the sequels in order to give them context, as long as it doesn't compromise the stories they're telling in the shows. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I like the sequels, but I couldn't agree more with your statement. And I think the people creating these shows are smart enough to do that. I have a lot more faith in the creators behind the television shows than the movies. I don't know, I think television shows are just a lot easier. I don't want to say a lot easier to get right, but I just trust the people. Like, I trust Filoni, I trust Favreau, I trust those guys. If she's a genetic copy of Jango, then she's Boba's age, but Boba looks a lot older than her. Yeah. And Boba, I think, is supposed to be 13 years old, because the cloning began during the time of the Phantom Menace, or right afterwards. And the Phantom Menace takes place 13 years before Revenge of the Sith. So, I mean, Omega is just not 13 years old. I'm sorry. For one, girls mature physically much earlier than boys do. And Omega is still a little kid, so no. Is no one allowed to give me an answer about whether or not Ahsoka has made an appearance in the Bad Batch? Sorry, I've been answering. No, Ahsoka has not made an appearance. She has not even been mentioned. Rex has, though. Have you not been watching the show? Maybe she was made later? It's possible. I mean, Jango Fett died 3 years before Revenge of the Sith, so any time between that time, 10-year time period between the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, Jango Fett could have made a second pure Generation 1 clone. I agree, television shows have more space for error and improvement. Movies don't really. Yeah, movies are tougher. Speaking of which, they announced the new writer for, what's it called? Rogue Squadron. Never heard of the guy. Hope it's good. Still hope it takes place after episode 9. Because that'd be cool. Maybe she was made later. Yeah, I think she was. Hey, look. Now, so yeah, I do think the episode was a big dub for sequel fans. I genuinely believe that I don't think these shows are all, like, I don't think the Mandalorian big finale is going to be about Palpatine. I think they're just planting the seeds. Like, the Mandalorian has its own story to tell. I just think they're planting the seeds to tell stories that do tie into Palpatine, and they're trying to explain it more. What if Omega grows extremely hot and busted? I can't picture that. I don't know. It's you know, it's a weird thing. Like when I picture the animated characters in live action and vice versa, I just can't do it. Like I was watching a scene from Revenge of the Sith recently, and like I just couldn't picture that Anakin being the Anakin from the Clone Wars. I just can't do it. There he goes with the underage drinking classic. Would there be who would be there to fight Rey in the show after Episode 9? There can't be any dark side users left in the galaxy that would give her a fight in the First Order. And isn't the First Order done? There could be anyone. I think it's a silly notion that like the dark side has to end with Episode 9. I think a good theme about the sequels especially is that the struggle with the dark side is an ongoing thing. It's not something you can just vanquish forever. Luke conquered his demons in Episode 6, but he still struggled with the dark side, and we saw that in The Last Jedi. So no, there could be dark side users throughout the galaxy. I think they could do something with the First Order. I mean, they're still around. I feel like the whole First Order wasn't wiped out the second that Palpatine fell again. So no, I think they could do that. And also, I would love it if Rey had like challenges that weren't physical, really. Like, yes, she had to defeat Kylo Ren. She had to defeat Palpatine. But like, what if she had to? Like, what if people just were like, Rey's the head of? Why would we trust the Jedi again after they've caused so much pain throughout the galaxy? I think those are questions that would be interesting for Rey to struggle with. Maybe there's another type of fighter out there that doesn't use the Force that's very competent. You know, someone else that would challenge Rey. I would be unsurprised to see more Sith. Maybe start some new Unbroken Line. Maybe not Sith per se, but some sort of dark side. The dark side isn't exclusive to the Sith, just like the light side isn't exclusive to the Jedi. I think there's a reason she's important I think the reason she's important is because the Kaminoans want to continue cloning for the Empire, but it's been established that the original Jango DNA strand is being stretched. That's possible. Now, are they going to make female soldiers? I'm down for that. I just think that would be a really unique thing. So you never really see, you know... Yeah, there's now women in the military, but like an all-women military? That would be interesting. I think that... I read that. Maybe after 9, the dark side awakens and someone just, as in 7, the light awakened. Yeah. I don't think they would go that route, but there's definitely some dark side people out there. Have your opinions changed on The Acolyte after the interview where Leslie Helen said she wants writers who don't know Star Wars? I like that, to be honest. For one, Leslie Headland is someone who is clearly a fan of Star Wars. She's the main writer. I think it's important that you have people that are a little bit disconnected from the franchise focus on your story and just make sure it tells a good story, that they aren't consumed with the lore and all that. Like, these other writers, right, they're not going to focus on lore stuff. They're going to focus on the characters and the story that's trying to be told. And if they have a question about, like, can the Force do this or can a Jedi do this, then that's when they go to someone like Leslie Headland or Dave Filoni or the other story group to ask those questions. So I think it's a very smart thing to have someone that's isolated from the franchise. Now, granted, I'm sure these people that weren't invested in the franchise, they've familiarized themselves in some way, probably watched the movies, maybe a few of the shows. But yeah, it's not like they haven't seen anything. It's not like they're going into writing The Acolyte and not having experienced anything. But yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. This is a Sith show. We don't know if it's a Sith show. It's about a dark side user, supposedly. And it's not like these people are the head writers. It's someone helping out Leslie Headland. It could go horribly. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. Sometimes we could use a little more of that. It's a collaborative process. You definitely want people to make sure they understand the lore, but if there's other people that can provide a different perspective, I think it works. Yeah, like the Knights of Ren were supposed to be the new Sith-like villains, but they got so wasted. Definitely. God, the Knights of Ren were so wasted. It's not even funny. Because she's Gen 1, she could be a good source for more soldiers, and the Kaminoans are clearly angry that the Empire wants to phase out clones, so Omega clones could help them in business. Yeah. I think it'll be about a Sith cultist. It's definitely possible. Plagueis be in the show, please. Imagine if they made the Acolyte like Plagueis, and they just made Plagueis a... Because even though Darth Plagueis is canon, it's not necessarily canon that Plagueis was immune. Like, what if they just made Plagueis a black woman? Because they said they want the main protagonist to be a woman of color. So what if they made her like a black woman? That'd piss off a lot of people. Wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't care. So yeah, maybe the female lead is a human. I just realized Goldman's hair is back. It's just like before. Well, I'm getting a haircut soon, so sorry. You guys like my hair longer? LOL. I doubt there'll be a video game, but a TV show seems likely as long as the haters stop being so irrational. I think Lucasfilm knows what they're doing. Knights of Ren got smoked. They did. Do you think there will be more High Republic era shows or even video games? I'm not sure. The High Republic doesn't seem to be as popular. I don't know. Like maybe it's the circle of the fandom I cover. It doesn't seem like the High Republic is something that's being super talked about. I could be very wrong. I still have to get the new book. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind. Sadly, the haters' voices are louder. There's a lot of High Republic fans, and I love the High Republic TV show, besides the Acolyte. I could be wrong. Also, it's a little different with the High Republic because I feel like the haters of the High Republic haven't even read the stories. They just read things like, oh, there's two characters that are transgender, let's throw a fit. Or there's a character that's a rock, that's like the worst thing ever. Like, they don't really know the story, so they can only complain about so much. Boba to Bo-Katan and Mandalore, careful princess, I didn't come alone. What you didn't know is that I have a sister. Omega Fett. That'd be funny. Your hair looks like Tarkin's. My hair's a mess. I'm getting a haircut soon, though. Goldman, have you seen the new bounty hunter, Deva Lompop? What? Do you think High Republic movies... High Republic will get any movies? Probably not. Goldman, have you seen... I don't know what that means. I think Plagueis is canonically male. Plagueis... Oh, yeah, he did say him. You're right. My apologies. Plagueis... Palpatine did say, ironic, he could save others from death, but not himself. Okay, so Darth Plagueis is canonically male. Maybe it's Plagueis' master, because we don't really know when the Acolyte takes place. It takes place during the end of the High Republic, but we don't know when that is. What if the Resistance fans grow up and take over the fandom? I just don't see that happening. I don't know Resistance fans. I just feel like it doesn't have the cult following. Like, it's been forgotten about completely. Something like Rebels has a much better chance. Because Rebels is still talked about today. Rebels is very relevant. I really like Resistance. I wish I liked it. I just thought it was a huge missed opportunity. I'll probably make a video on the topic soon. You know, I actually haven't given my thoughts specifically on the episode. I'm so frustrated with the Bad Batch in the sense that I enjoyed the episode. This episode is even more and more it's The Mandalorian. This show is literally the exact same thing as season 1. They rescued the child, but now they're concerned that other bounty hunters are going to go after them. So they have to be extra careful going forward. Hope it doesn't end the same way, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard to speculate because I feel like it's just going to end the same way The Mandalorian season 1 ended. They're going to confront like the Kaminoans or whatever, and Omega will be safe. I hope Rian Johnson's trilogy is in the High Republic era. I think he's a good storyteller, but he'd be better with his own characters that he made than ones that other people have made. I agree. 200 years before the Phantom Menace. That's when the High Republic begins. I mean, no eras take place in like 1 year, right? I think the High Republic would be 100 years, 50 years, 200 years. We don't know. We don't know when the end of the High Republic is. We know when the beginning is. When someone who can barely read hated on the High Republic. Yeah, a lot of people do that. It's obnoxious. It might happen. I mean, the prequels were hated, and now the biggest Star Wars YouTuber is a prequel simp. Yeah, but you're talking about the prequels were movies that everyone saw. The Clone Wars was a very popular TV show on Cartoon Network. Resistance is a animated show that not many people have seen. I don't know I don't think I've met a single person I don't think I've met a single person that I've met in person that's seen Resistance. So yeah, there's no way. I hope the Knights of Ren show up in something else, maybe some more pre-sequel content. Pre-sequel. I don't know that word just made me laugh. I think in the Rise of Skywalker novel, some of the Resistance pilots were at the Battle of Exegol. That's true, but I mean it's a reference in the novel that again how many people read. I'm kind of mad that Omega is already back with the Bad Batch. I'm not, because I don't want them to stretch this out. I want them to not follow the Mandalorian storyline. I'm hyped for the Rising Storm. Didn't it come out recently? Acolyte is 50 years before the Phantom Menace. It could be about Palpatine. Maybe Palpatine has like a lover or something. I believe it's canonical that the High Republic is 250 to 50 ABY. Okay. BBY, you mean. BBY. I thought that in the finale they would have to show down with Crosshair on Kamino to get Omega back. But that's out the window now. Yeah. What's Resistance? Is this new? There was an animated show. It's on Disney Plus. Or it was on Disney XD called Star Wars Resistance. It lasted 2 seasons. Was not that good in my opinion. But yeah. Goldman is such a Chad. Thank you. So yeah, that's what Resistance is about. If you're just desperate to consume new Star Wars content, that's the only reason I would recommend this show. It doesn't really add much to anything. Acolyte takes place in the end of the High Republic era. That is correct. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just indifferent about the Bad Batch. I feel like now that the sequels are over, I will never get as emotionally invested in a single story as I was with the sequels, just because the sequels were the Skywalker saga. Like for me, episodes 1 through 9, that's Star Wars, and then everything else are Star Wars stories that connect. Like those are spin-offs. So like, if The Bad Batch sucks, it just wouldn't bother me as much. If The Mandalorian sucks, it wouldn't bother me as much. I want them to be great, and I'm going to watch everything, and I hope I love everything. I don't think I'm ever going to be super angry. Unless I really love something, and they just completely blow it at the end, like they did with Game of Thrones. A show between 6 and 7 with Luke, Han, and Leia could be really good. We could see Ben's turn to the dark side, and Luke's dark visions. Yeah, I think we can get something like that eventually. Not soon, eventually, though. Is it a continuation to Clone Wars or what? Resistance? No, not even close. Star Wars Resistance connects to nothing but the sequels, and it barely does that. The Bad Batch isn't very good, TBH. It needs more of a woman's touch to it. It's too masculine. I guess I won't argue with that. I think every story should have a woman's and a man's touch to it, because everyone can provide new perspectives. That's pretty strange. The cover itself looks amazing. The cover of what? Have you seen Pigpen077's Star Wars Iceberg video? It's a really good video, and the guy's a sequel fan and calls the hypocrisy of the Phantom Menace too. I feel like most fans know the hypocrisy of the Phantom Menace, so I don't really need to be convinced of anything. And also, I'm trying to stay away from like fandom wars and stuff like that, but maybe I'll check it out. I think after the first batch of films, they might make another saga. I hope they make another saga. Like, there's the Skywalker saga. Maybe they want to make the Claude saga or something like that. Goldman, have you ever played Star Wars Galaxies of Heroes? It's a mobile Star Wars game. It has constant fresh content, and I really like it. I played it a long time ago. I played it my sophomore year of high school. So that was what? It's been 7 years since my sophomore year of high school? Wow. Yeah. Goldman, the question of the day. Do you like the Bad Batch show? I'm indifferent. I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's just like, unless the season gets better, which I think it will, I'm not interested in like rewatching it. So maybe like the lower end of like, I'm enjoying it, but I'm disappointed. A girl is basically the main character. I'm not sure if I'd say Omega's the main character. Also, just because a girl is the main character, I don't think that means it has a woman's touch to it, you know? I think. Again, I don't think I'm qualified to comment on the subject. I really want a kind of love story between Rey's parents that kind of shows how the stuff with the cult, the clones, and how Snoke went down. I think that would be a fantastic story. I think that would be such a fantastic story. It could honestly be like the seeds there for Rey's parents could be like one of the best love stories. A tragic one for sure. You know, like Palpatine, Rey's dad slash Palpatine's son slash clone, like escapes, finds love. Then she realizes like, oh, by the way, I'm a clone slash the son of Emperor Palpatine, and she was like, oh no, you're evil, but then comes to love him. And then they run together. They have a kid, but she loves him so much that she sticks with him, and they die together a little tragically. I think it'd be a very powerful story. Also, just so interesting. The story potential with Rey's dad is so immense. Like, besides, I don't know. Like, I think the concept of Rey's dad is just so interesting. Like, I'm not sure if there's anything more interesting to me. Like, yeah, I'd love for Rey and Finn's stories to continue after Episode 9, but the concept of Rey's dad is just fascinating to me. Who do you think Rey's grandma is? Rey doesn't have a grandma. Palpatine's dad, or Rey's dad, is technically a clone of Palpatine. Omega's not a main character. She's a MacGuffin, honestly. What do you guys think? What do you guys think Ahsoka TV show will be about? Are we getting an Ahsoka show, or was that speculation? We're getting an Ahsoka show. I think it's going to be the Rebels successor show that was speculated on, but then kind of canceled. Because there were rumors that they were going to do a third animated series after Rebels with like the same cast again, but that got canceled, and instead they're just doing a live action version of that with the Ahsoka show. I'm down. The biggest mistake the Bad Batch did was not having an Ahsoka appearance. I disagree with that, and here's why. If you're Ahsoka, you don't want people to know about you, because she's a Jedi on the run. The less people that know about your existence, the better. If she showed up in the Bad Batch, for one, she doesn't know about a rebellion forming. I think if she showed up to the Bad Batch and just showed up to, the Bad Batch themselves in Omega, that's like 5 people now that know that a Jedi's on the run. It needs one of them to slip, one of them to get interrogated, one of them to slip, and Ahsoka's cover is blown. So I think it was smart by Rex, especially, to not mention Ahsoka, because he said, how he said he had help. That's how he got his chip out. I think it makes perfect sense that Ahsoka won't be in the show. I think she will show up though, but I think it would be very brief, and they might not know that she's a Jedi. But I think it makes sense that we don't see Ahsoka. At the Woman, are you interested in the New Republic? Yeah. It's interesting because they clearly were a huge failure, and I'd like to know more about why. Which actor should play live-action Ezra? I'm awful with actors. I don't know many actors. I don't like Shancast or anything like that. Someone who looks like Ezra. That's all I want. I don't want Ahsoka in the Bad Batch. It would almost certainly contradict her novel. Yeah. Novel was actually very good. I thought the Ahsoka novel was very good. Ahsoka is confirmed alive in Rise of Skywalker, so she wouldn't die in the show. She wasn't confirmed. She just wasn't confirmed dead. Dave Filoni said, just because we hear her voice, that doesn't mean she's dead. She could be dead, she could be alive. We don't know. Last year, Jon Favreau said in an interview that we would explore the origins of the First Order in Mando. Do you think we'll get to see the updated Stormtrooper armor or even Snoke? No. The First Order was in hiding for a long time, but they didn't really resurface until about 6 years before The Force Awakens. And because the whole thing with the First Order, so they rose in the shadows, right? The New Republic was very lazy, and we see that in The Mandalorian. We see that in The Mandalorian that the New Republic is kind of negligent about what's going on in the galaxy. So the First Order makes an appearance in the galactic scene about 6 years before The Force Awakens. Because there's a lot of systems that secede from the New Republic, called like Centrist systems, and they join the First Order. So a lot of systems are part of the First Order, and the New Republic is like, we spent so much of our past in war. We had the Clone Wars, we had the Galactic Civil War. We just want to avoid war at all costs. So they didn't try to get rid of the First Order. They just wanted to avoid all conflict at all costs. Leia's like, that's idiotic. The First Order is basically the Empire when you get rid of them. That's why Leia formed the Resistance and bailed from the New Republic. Leia was right about the First Order. They had Starkiller Base. They wiped out the Republic, and that's how they were able to take over. So there's your history lesson on the First Order. If Ahsoka isn't at least a small glimpse in the Bad Batch, like a flash flick moment of Ahsoka on Batch, or else the whole show is trash. No, I think that's an unhealthy mentality. I don't think you should have the mentality that a certain character needs to appear to make it good, especially if the character isn't super relevant to the story being told. I want a Commander Pyre face reveal. It would be really cool to see the Clone Commandos against the Bad Batch. It would be cool, but the Clone Commandos wouldn't be the same Clone Commandos from the video game, because, they're Order 66. They're not the same people. Do you think Crosshair will come back to normal, or at least Minute come back to his senses and die by sacrificing himself? If he redeemed himself or came back to the good side and sacrificed himself, that would be such a repeat of Vader and Kylo. It would be so annoying. I really need to rewatch Resistance. Really? Do you really need to rewatch Resistance? That's actually one thing. The first season of Resistance wasn't the worst. The second season was abysmal. The first season did explore a little bit of the First Order, because the whole thing with Resistance was that the First Order organized. They knew there was going to be a galactic takeover, so they were starting to plant seeds throughout the galaxy so that their takeover would be easier. One of those seeds was the Colossus, a refueling station that the First Order could use. So they explore that a little bit, but yeah. No one cares about Resistance. I know, but I care about Star Wars lore, and Resistance ties into that a little bit. Eager had a really cool backstory set up, but they should have fleshed it out more. Yeah, he was actually cool. That was actually a little dark. It was a dark episode I actually kind of liked. But yeah. I don't know, there was potential there, but they didn't. I hope they don't do that. I mean, I care about Resistance. Fair enough. Not all Star Wars fans are the same. Everyone at the Goldman, hear me out. Trace and Rafa on the Ahsoka show, they'd be old. No way. That would be, I don't know. Nah. For real, I really think the second season of Resistance was better than the first one. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Who do you think is the best actor ever? Mine's a hot take, but Bryan Cranston. It's not Star Wars related. I don't know. Hayden Christensen. The Goldman, this is a hard question. Do you think after The Rise of Skywalker, the main character from Force Collector will be a Jedi in New Order of the Jedi? I have the book, but I haven't read it, so I don't know about the character. So yeah, I can't really answer that. Actually, I had a good time. I like talking about lore aspects of Star Wars. I don't know. I don't get to nerd out enough about my actual knowledge. Speculation is fun, but I like nerding out about actual lore and stuff and how things connect. Which is actually a little bit of a disappointment that I have with the Bad Batch. It doesn't really do much world building. They're on the run. We see some bounty hunters. It's the same old stuff. I think it was the second episode that they had that really cool concept of citizens needed to get a chain code for the Empire. I thought that was cool, world building. But besides that, It wouldn't make sense for Ahsoka to appear if it isn't through Rex, because she hasn't even met the Bad Batch besides Echo. The only other way it could potentially make sense if it was through Trace and Rafa. And honestly, it makes sense because it was revealed that Trace and Rafa know Rex. The link between those is Ahsoka. So maybe Ahsoka went Trace and Rafa. It's possible. But Rafa didn't really like Trace. I don't know. It being in sequel era automatically got hate from the Phantom Menace. Yeah. I'm kind of shocked that Disney hasn't done a Star Wars and a Marvel crossover story yet, even in comic form. Oh, I'd hate that so much. Hey, Goldman, big fan, keep up with the good work. Thank you. What about Ahsoka mentioned on the Bad Batch? Mentioned? It would make even less sense for her to be mentioned. Because why would Rex mention her? If Ahsoka wants to stay on the down low, why would Rex try and blow her cover like that? I think it's a little silly. That's just me. It's just me, at least. What about Ahsoka mentioned? I read that. Star Wars question: would you want to see time travel in Star Wars? No, I hate time travel so much. I was okay with it at the World Between Worlds because it didn't mess with the timeline or anything. It's just like two people different in time connected to the Force and then went back. So like Ahsoka technically knows about the future a little bit, but she clearly stayed out of it, so I'm fine. The only thing she knew was that Kanan was gonna die. So, do you think Ahsoka show is gonna explore the unknown regions? I think it's only gonna be in the unknown regions. I don't think the if they're gonna establish a big conflict, it has to take place in the unknown regions. I bet they'll kill Crosshair because it would be difficult to redeem him since he's an a-hole anyway. They redeemed Darth Vader. I think you could redeem anyone. Would Thrawn join the First Order? I like it's basically confirmed he's gonna appear in one of the new shows, so maybe he could appear in the First Order. Could be a First Order foundling. I think it depends. I would say likely not, and here's why. At the end of the day, Thrawn's #1 goal is protecting the Chiss ascendancy. That's a big thing that the books are about. And he joined the Empire because he hoped one day the Empire would help him in the fight against the Grisks. So the First Order, they organize in the unknown regions. At some point, they had to have run into the Chiss. They likely defeated the Chiss since the First Order reigned supreme. I don't think Thrawn would help the First Order. That's why I tend to think that Thrawn's not involved with the Empire and he's doing his own business. Ahsoka coming to show would just be fan service. Agreed. Goldman, do you think the Bad Batch ties into the Book of Boba? It could. I think it could. I don't think Thrawn would. The Empire is arguably good while the First Order is unarguably evil. Ooh, Matthew Kelly question. Do you think that Dave Filoni would add General Price in the Bad Batch as a younger recruit and maybe add Maz Kanata that Hunter asked why she isn't a Jedi? Probably not. Goldman, do you think Ahsoka show will give her a love interest or at least an implied one? No, I don't think so. Eckhart's Ladder made a video on Thrawn in the First Order. Eckhart's Ladder is probably one of my favorite Star Wars YouTubers. Is it a recent video? If it is recent, I'll watch it. If not, probably not. Let's see. Thrawn and the First Order. Would Thrawn join the First Order? It was 2 years ago. I'll check it out one day. I don't think so. Oh, by the way, quick side tangent. I've been thinking recently about exploring a little bit more lore-esque videos. Like one video I'm making, I'm going to test it out, and if you guys don't like it, I won't do another, is if you saw my Anakin video I did, the one about Anakin's the most underrated scene, you know, I had that little segment where I kind of commentated a deleted scene from the Attack of the Clones novelization, kind of brought it to life a little bit. I really enjoyed doing that, so I kind of want to do a little bit more of that. Like right now, you can't tell, but I have the Force Awakens novelization here, and like I've been post-it noting some scenes from the movies that I thought were enhanced a little bit by the novelization. Like right now, I'm actually making a video on where is it? I'm making a video on the Jedi mind trick scene. You know, where Rey uses the Jedi mind trick. Because I think it expands a little bit. It'll be the videos won't be long. It'll be like 4 to 5 minutes. I just read through it and I kind of give my thoughts how I think it expands on the story and how I think it provides a little more clarity to things that were a little confusing. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Like what if I narrated the Rey versus Kylo fight, provided some context towards their thoughts? Not a lot of people know what goes on. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Because I'm very interested in it. But if no one's interested in it, I'm not going to be doing it. I love how you made your lore videos similar to Star Wars Theory. It makes good lore videos. You know, you try to learn from the best, right? Any comments? That sounds awesome. Read the Inferno Squad novel. That's a great novel. That is so much better than the Battlefront 2 campaign. That was a good book. It's just called Inferno Squad, right? That was a good book. It's a cool concept. Could be a nice 15-minute video, though. 15 minutes? It depends on the scene. The ones I've been jotting down, probably not that long, but it would be shorter. Also, maybe I'd do like something like some of the comics. Like there's a few sequel comics that no one cares about that I'd bring to life. Talk about Ray a little bit, Finn a little bit. I think it'd be cool. Goldman, I've missed a lot of streams recently. No apologies. No worries. Not everyone can catch every stream. Also, I haven't been streaming much, so there's that. I do want to do a little more streaming though. Oh, by the way, I have a few videos coming out in the future, near future. This will be one of the last times you see this background. Because I am moving. I actually, if you give me a hot sec. You could make a video about the story of the First Order. I think that would be very interesting. I should actually. What I will be doing in the foreseeable future. Give me a sec. Because behind the scenes, you guys can't really see much. But over the years, I've been saving all my Lego Star Wars boxes, most of them. Like here we got Poe Dameron's X-Wing, and inside we got, what is this? Oh, the Rogue One tank, I think it is, some kind. Whatever. So what I'm gonna do is I got a bunch of Ziploc bags. Another Force Awakens set, another Force Awakens set. And then here, I have a box of all my instruction manuals over the years. So what I'm going to do is box up these sets, all of them. The Lego Death Star, though, that's going to be so hard. Can I bring that closer? I don't know how close I can bring my phone to the Lego Death Star I have over there, but yeah. I got to do a lot of packing. So I got to pack up the posters, got to pack up the Legos. I'll miss them, but boo, I like that background. I'm moving. I'm a grown man because I'm still right now at my parents' house. I move in less than 2 weeks, like a week and a half. Moving across the country too. So yeah. I don't know, can I move my phone a little bit? 'Cause I wanna see how close I can. By the way, my camera is my phone. See how close I can get to my Legos. Yeah, but if you see my Lego Death Star there, like that thing is so not durable that I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. And also I have a Lego Venator right there. So yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do with those. Absolutely no clue. Strap it back onto my tripod. So yeah. I will make you all jealous. I have the 2008 Death Star. Is that this one? Or is that an older one? I think it's I think this one's older. Or it's not the exact model, but that one's a little different. Do you think they should recanonize the Plagueis novel as its legends at the moment, but most people treat it as canon? I think they'll do that in some form. I don't think they'll just straight up recanonize the novel. I think they will probably retell the story in some way. Where are you moving to? Secret. I'm moving west, I'll say that. If it's too much trouble to move them, I'll take some of them off your hands. You should definitely make a video about the potential story of Rey's parents. That short pitch you did was great. I might write the story myself just for fun. Yeah. You can break the Death Star into smaller parts. I can. It's gonna be hard though. POV Goldman picks you up to show his room. I'm in my basement, so I can't unplug my phone from the computer because then you just lose the visual here. Just make sure there isn't any incriminating evidence that can get me canceled. Yeah, why not? So you can get a little bit of a glimpse of like my setup a little bit. You know, it's like this is the desk I sit at right now. I stream on my iPad. But you can barely hear me because my mic's over here. Water bottle, the book. I actually use a TV as a monitor right now, so there's that. I don't know. I don't really have like much that I've posters. I have a whiteboard up there to block a window. I have some other stuff. Those are my Legos. That's my other part of my setup way over there. I don't know, there's not much. I got stuff in boxes because I'm packing up all my books. I have some lights there. SpongeBob Monopoly right there. So yeah, I don't know. There's like not much to show. I mean, unless I unplug my phone, which I can't do. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. POV Goldman picks you up to show his room. Let me guess, China? I do not live in China. I do live in the United States. Hashtag canceled. Gotta head to dinner. See you later, Claude Squad. Peace out. That's a big-ass room, Goldie. It's my parents' basement. So, yeah. It was a part of Star Wars Infinities, so it was double non-canon with Legends. Rip background. Yeah, I'll miss the background, but it is what it is. Nice crib. People call Han and Leia bad parents and canon. Even Legends, their kids were getting kidnapped in every other book. Yeah. That's a big basement. It is. What the hell? I'm not even reading that. But yeah, I don't really have much else to talk about. I might hop off. I think watch the basketball game. What's tonight? The Hawks and Bucks? Hawks, Bucks. Hawks, Bucks. Bucks are up 6 points. Will it be California? Potentially. Potentially. Isn't China East? Well, China's both East and West. So yeah. I know, I think I'm going to hop off, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will be doing some more streams in the future. I got a lot of ideas coming up. House reveal at 10K? Well, this isn't my house, so no. Name reveal? Just kidding. All right. Trae Young is the man. Ooh, as a New York Knicks fan, triggered. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, yes, I did read Phasma. Don't forget Jeanette the Claude Squad. And I will see you guys next time. Sounds good.